Alright, hello guys. I'm here in 2K21 today. I wanted to show you guys a little bit of how to do courses from start to end. Don't worry that I'm in 2K21. It's the exact same thing as 2K23 in terms of the designer. It's just the menus are different. All I wanted to talk about is, as a designer, what you're going to be doing from start to finish to make your course. This course right here is one that I had just started a couple days ago, probably 3 or 4 days ago, and I've been working on it maybe 2 hours a day. I just wanted to talk through the process that I go through when I'm making a course, and show you guys a little bit of a work in progress course here. So the first thing I do when I log into the course is obviously you make the world, you select however many objects, how many trees or whatever you want, what world type you want. And here I knew I wanted to go for a certain design type. I wanted to go for a mounded type course. I wanted to go for a plains type course with these bigger hills blocking the whole sight lines and stuff like that. So I came in here, I selected my hills to max. I selected water at the bottom because I wanted to do all the water body placements myself. What I did is I came in here and I built up the sides into these big mountains, these bigger cliffs. And then I decided, I'm going to put a big lake right in the center and have a river that runs down into this little open area. This little map here in specific, you can see the mountains in the back. It has a big open area where the mountains run down and into water all the way up to your map edge, and it does the same all the way around again. I think there is one background type for every map that does this, I'm pretty sure. Now, this is how I wanted to lay out my map. You can lay out your map however you want, but this is a good, easy, beautiful one to do, is just having a river running down the center from pond to ocean. And in terms of what you're going to start doing next is your whole layout. You're going to want to decide where your clubhouse is going to be, and you're going to want to run your 1 to 18. You're going to want to decide if you want number 9 to come back to the clubhouse or not. It is not a necessity in this game at all to have number 9 run back to a clubhouse, but I do recommend it because usually your clubhouse is going to be a focal point on the golf course. It's usually going to be a more beautiful sight on the course. In terms of this one, I knew that I was going to be running a course along a bunch of land, and I had a lot of beautiful options for holes, so I wanted to not have my 9 come back to the clubhouse so it wasn't restricted on the land I could use. Because if I were to do 9, I could only come down to maybe here and shoot back, and I wouldn't be able to get as many oceanside holes as I wanted to. So after that, I pretty much, what I do is I come around here, I got my hole layout, it looks like this, nothing special here, and I just kind of go hole to hole, and I just kind of look around at each hole, and I just go until one sparks, and I feel like I have a good idea based off of the landscape that the hole gives me, and I'll start forming the hole right there. It's a pretty simple way of doing things. Sometimes I will come in here with inspiration and from like a picture or another golf course that I saw in the real world, but most of the time my inspiration is just based off of what I'm getting here on the course. So for example, this hole back here, it just had 2 little mounds on both sides. These mounds are not as big, so I decided to come in here and I decided to raise these mounds up, make them really big. Came in here, flattened out this little area, decided I wanted this area to be the gopher point, like the point that the players want to be. So for this hole in specific, you would have to hit a long draw around this hill to get over to here, because anything right here, you got to go over this bunker right here is a straight line in. So it's just some simple design things. At the same time as I'm building the holes, I kind of keep in mind where do I want the players to go. This one right here, I wanted to have a bottleneck design for the long hitters to make it kind of scarier to come down here. They're going to have to hit a really nice shot, or they're going to be way over here. And any shots that hit this hill are probably going to bounce into the rough over on this side. So after you kind of get your ideas down, usually I'll work either fairway or green first. So for this hole, let's say I come in here and I would just do this whole fairway. I've already kind of got it flattened out for what I want. I would come in here and I would paint this fairway right here and get that all done, get the fairway all done, and I wouldn't worry about the green in particular off the bat. Unless I've got a good idea for the hole, a lot of times I'll just do the fairway or I'll do the green first, and then kind of work whichever one's done first into the other one. So if this landing zone is going to be down here, if I want this to be the optimal spot, I'll have an open spot right here coming straight down, and I don't know, maybe just because this one's longer, I'll make this a smaller green to make it really difficult, so those short shots are what you want on this hole. It's just really simple ideas like that that you want to keep in mind as you're making your course. And once you get done with placing your course down, getting all your fairways, getting your layout down, that's when it's time to start decorating. It's time to start doing your cart paths. It's time to start making your tee boxes look nice. It's time to start adding holes in all around. And as you're doing this, if you have all of these projects going simultaneously at the same time, like say I'm designing some houses up here, say I'm working on some holes over here, I have a lot of options of what I want to do. Same thing with the fairway and green. Like if I just want to do fairways today, I can just come and design fairways, and I can worry about greens another day. I don't have to do greens today. And it gives you a lot of options on what you actually want to design for the day. Because a lot of these courses, if you do make them look really nice and make them up to really good standards, it's going to take you a long time. These aren't projects that are going to be quick. If you really take your time, a single hole fully decorated should take you a couple hours to do. It should take you a couple hours to lay the whole thing out, to get it all flattened, to decorate all the edges, to get the cart paths, to get the trees, to get the shrubs, to get the, if you want players or a crowd on your course. There's a lot of little things that you can add into these holes to really make them more beautiful than just what this is right here. You can see it's a pretty bland hole at the moment. There's really not much going on. Now I'm going to take you over to a finished course and kind of show you what I was talking about, all the houses and all the decorations and everything. So if I come over here, I think this one was a really nice course in terms of decoration. I put a lot of time into this one, doing things like subdivisions and a tiny little city district, and also a lot of vegetative decorations. So if I come down here to these holes, an example, I've got a lot of like little bush shrub areas. You don't really have to put a whole bunch of thought into these. It's more or less do the bigger ones in the center and do some smaller ones around the outside, and kind of have this level building thing. You get small ones, medium ones, big ones, and you'll see that on almost all my beds. They're done like that: small, medium, big, and they'll go back and they'll have different colors depending on the beds. Doing grasses on your course in these little lower lying areas is also a very nice way to decorate your course. Adding in the crowd stands is a beautiful thing to do. Doing rocks, of course, if you have any big bare cliff edges, doing rocks is beautiful. Mulched beds are also very, very nice and look good on courses. They do take a lot more time because you have to spend some time clearing out under them, but they can look great when they're done. In terms of doing outside things like houses and stuff, you don't have to do a whole bunch with the houses. For me, I usually just run simple roads to them, and I'll do some simple, maybe trees here and there, maybe a hedge line here. Nothing really too complicated, because players aren't going to spend a lot of time looking at these. They'll look at them for probably 10 seconds max, and I'm like, oh, those are some cool houses, and keep on going. Unless they hit a shot over here, of course, which this one is kind of viable because I've hit the cart path before and bounced out of bounds. So you got ones up here as well, kind of look the same. Did another subdivision down here, it's the same deal, not a whole bunch going on here, just kind of lightly decorated. But it's just little things like that that make your course pop that much more. Like the main focal point on this course is the little kind of tiny or like city over here. I was thinking of this more like a hospital right here, but it's got this tiny little area, got a little fancy building at the end, got a little putting green area, got this, all of that up there. And it's not a whole bunch of decoration going on. It's really, really not. It doesn't take a whole bunch of time to do. This whole thing probably took 30 minutes to do, all of that. So it's just something you just got to sit down and do. It just makes the course look that much better. I showed in another video how you can do some decorations, some simple decorations like windmills and things like that. But in terms of like fully decorating your course, this is how you've got to go through with it. You've got to come in here and do all these little things. Adding in your clubhouse is a huge one. Adding in your parking lot. I didn't add cars here because no one could see the cars and it would take up my object amount. But just doing as much decoration as you can while at the same time staying under your object limit can be very difficult, because things like grasses, which are beautiful and very nice to have on your course, take up a huge amount of your object limit. Same thing with rocks. Doing rocks like this is fine, but doing rocks in clusters absolutely destroys your object count. It is crazy. So it has to be a good mix with using the right objects in the right places, and you'll figure out in time what are bad objects to place. Mainly grasses are very expensive. I'll usually do these last because I know they're going to take up, or if I know the course needs the grasses and has to have them there, I'll do them first, and I'll play with the rest of the object limit I have. But in terms of how to build your course from start to finish, once you get to this point and you've got your course, you've got your holes laid out, you've got everything done, play test, play test, play test. And you should have been play testing anyway while you're making your course, because play testing makes the course a lot better. You can adjust things before it gets too final. Like now that this hole is completely done, this was made in the last game, so most of the driver shots are landing back here. Now drivers are landing kind of up here. I would have to move these bunkers up a little bit more, maybe over a little more. And doing that is going to take a lot of time. It's going to be like 10-15 minutes, probably more, depending on how complicated it gets, to actually move both of these bunkers all the way up here. So it's just little things like that. You have to make sure you're play testing your course to make sure everything's going to play right before you get to final. And play testing your course when it is final, you're looking for stuff like this right here. I didn't fix this, but it's just little things like grass that's left laying around. Like maybe there's some slopes that are way too big for a player to get up. Like, I don't know, say this area was grassy and this was a green. Maybe can the player even chip up to here without getting stuck on this slope? It's just little things like that you have to keep in mind when you're finishing your course. But in terms of that, I think that's pretty much it in terms of making the course from start to finish, kind of the process of doing it. If you guys have any questions or anything you'd like to add, drop it in the comments. And I'll see you guys next time.